Welcome for anyone who cares for the e28 content on the channel. This is the Turbo 528E that I have been doing a turbo swap on, manifold swap. So it's got the Kangaroo's manifold. It has the whole set HE341 that has been modified by Savage Fabrication. And it's got 3-inch exhaust, stainless, that I have been making all the way back. You can see, I mean, this is like the cleanest work I could possibly do with my own bare hands. And down there, there's I have another video on it, but there's a 38 millimeter tile wastegate. And what else? Let's take a look here. It's got high flow cat and stainless all the way back. So anyway, some pie cuts for you. This is basically like a whole revision. So this originally was just thrown together to have a turbo on it and have fun. And now we're trying to make it as clean as possible. And so we are just redoing a bunch of stuff. Like while we were redoing the turbo manifold, it only made sense to do like a nice new clean stainless downpipe and redo where the oil lines go, do new intercooler piping. And the biggest thing about this is now that it has this repainted valence that I painted last summer, previously it just had the intercooler sticking outside, just slightly under the car. And now that we have this, we didn't want to cut it up, and we're going to probably put Euro bumpers on it eventually. And that keeps all this, that cuts all this stuff back even further. So there's even less space for an intercooler, at least an air-to-air intercooler. So we're doing a water-to-air intercooler. This is the Type 19. I don't know if it like zooms in enough to show you. The Type 19 that comes from siliconeintakes.com. I think CX Racing has one that's similar. It's 3-inch inlet, 3-inch outlet, 5-inch by 5-inch core. They're rated at 650 CFM, so about 600 horsepower. This particular build will be under that power limit by a good amount, but I had remote tuned Peyton's car. I can put a link to his Instagram, but he was running this on his M30 and it did really well. He also has a really well designed pump system. So he has a pump with like a 996 Porsche turbo, heat exchanger up front, and a bunch of other stuff. And his worked really well. Like he was driving around in like 80-degree ambient, and we were seeing like 95-degree, I think, inlet temperatures. And so anyway, that's why I'm going with this. I know people are extremely concerned that this won't work, but a lot of the time they're just not executed correctly. So I'm trying to execute this correctly and make the water to air setup work, get a quality heat exchanger with a good pump, and set it up correctly. So before you shut me down on that, we're just gonna see. I have some data on it from Peyton's car that is working incredibly well, and shout out to him for telling me about this and getting me set up. But yeah, anyway, it's got this is 2.75 inch to 3 inch, if you're wondering. The M20 throttle bodies are 2 3/4 inch to 3 inch silicone coupler. And then it has, we're gonna do a GM style, this is the air temp sensor. And instead of putting it on the top where it's very visible, we're gonna put it on the back. So it'll just be drilled and tapped. This is like a really thick flange that tapers up to where the outlet is. So on the back side of this, under here, we'll just drill and tap that, set that guy in there, and it'll be completely out of the way. This car eventually will get drive-by-wire someday when we change the ECU, but for now we're still just doing the linkage throttle, just the OEM one. And with this car, to get it to idle really well, we found that I think it's off of a Volvo, I can get you the part number somewhere, but this one's really scratched up. But anyway, it's a 2-wire, so it's just PWM. So all you need to do is give it power and a PWM from the Mega Squirt ECU. I'm going to mount this down under here on the frame rail so it's out of the way. Before we've had an outlet like this on the intercooler pipe. I'm probably going to do an AN JIC fitting and then put that on the bottom of the intercooler pipe, run it over, then up, and it will just come through here and circle up and kind of be tucked out of the way. Just trying to keep it as clean as possible, like do an actual clean build as much as we can. So it will be running an idle air control valve. The M30s, like the bigger the motor, the less it seems to care that it doesn't have an idle air control valve. But like in my experience, the smaller the motor, the more finicky it gets. And this motor is 2.7 liter and has bigger injectors, and it really likes having it. So we're gonna put it in. We're gonna do a 3 to 2.5 inch elbow. This is just a straight coupling that I have on here for reference. And it goes down to one big 45. Let me get you a better angle. But the 45 just basically like allows it to dip and go under the fan where it bulges out the most. And it'll clear like the front of the crank and everything. And then it just goes into a 90. We just have it taped before I weld it. And it'll just go into the turbo. So just comes across the front of the motor. On an M30, like tough luck on this because there's no room. I mean, you might be able to get like 2-inch pipe or something in a similar spot, but the M20 has quite a bit more room. I mean, there's probably like 8 inches between the front of the motor and there. So anyway, that's our plan with that. Keeping this all AN fittings on the turbo, going down to the wastegate. And I'm trying to think of anything like major that has changed. We had a catch can that I built over here that we're gonna have to remount. It just came off of this threaded 10 AN fitting that I put in the valve cover a long time ago. Those work incredibly well, like super basic. Let me see if I've got it back here. Super basic. I just bought like some 3-inch aluminum tube and capped it on the bottom and then put like a 1-inch outlet on the top, a little oil or a little filter from like a pit bike, and then just a 10 AN weld fitting on the outside. So that guy just goes to the valve cover. Works great. It's like half full. And it had been running for like a year. These don't spit too much oil, but it's there. And I'm trying to think of any other like details. Just trying to like tuck the wires and stuff, and we sprayed some rust converter down there. Not that that even really matters for what you're probably interested in over here, but just trying to like clean up the engine bay in general and make all this wiring less hectic. Just doing a cleanup this round, and we are keeping the AC. We're going to change out to like a more modern style condenser and a better fan. That'll come in the spring. You can get like universal stuff on Amazon. I'll probably do a video on that, and then you can see if you're interested. There's kits out there, but we're going to try to do it ourselves and save a little bit of money because it gets expensive quick. But yeah, we still have the AC compressor down there. The lines right here. We just need to have this line made. And then this hard line, I think we'll just put like a turbo blanket or something right between it, or we can just bend this, and there's still some space right here, so we could just bring it back and get it kind of out of the way. The other thing is the stock coolant reservoir. It usually goes here, but it's very close to where like the turbo is, and we don't want it to cause any problems. The reason it's extended is we mounted it on the other side of the engine bay just temporarily. And we're probably going to do that until we change over to this. I've had this sitting in storage for a long time. This is off a 2006 NASCAR, like cup car. You can find cup car parts on eBay and stuff like that. I don't remember how much it was, like not much at all, 30-40 bucks a few years ago. And I'm just going to chop it down. So just take some of the height out of it, cut it, bring it back together, weld it, and then we'll mount this guy over here and just run the hose to the bottom, overflow and everything to the top, and the new coolant reservoir will just be over here. So we'll come up with like a nice mount for that, and it'll have NASCAR parts. So you can say like, yo, we're NASCAR people up in this BMW here. Also gonna make a strut tower brace. Started on it. Just did some mounts here, and then it's gonna go across. This is 65 wall 7/8 tubing. It was like the perfect size I could get to fit between the lip of this and the edge, and still fit with the factory hardware. So anyway, that's coming soon. I have it kind of bunged up on the other side as well. Hasn't been fully made yet. I need to get a hole saw to make the copes a little bit easier. I just did it by hand. Wasn't too bad, but I would rather do it with a hole saw, have it a little bit easier. And then I'm gonna cut these on a 45, kind of make them look a little bit better so they're not just standoff straight pieces of tube. And yeah, it'll just go straight across, and I might brace to it to make it look a little bit better. I know a lot of people aren't fond of just the straight tube. I actually think it looks all right. I think it looks a little more motorsport, but yeah. Anyway, sorry for the big Rambletron, but I think anyone who's interested would like to know, and this will be coming up soon. We want to get this thing running, driving, completely retune it. It had issues before, and I think it had some vacuum leaks, a bunch of different things. So we're just going to start fresh, retune it, and hopefully get it on the dyno and see what it will make. So thanks again to Bradley at Savage Fabrication for getting this modified. This is awesome. We're looking forward to seeing how much power this makes. It is essentially a stock HE341 with a clipped turbine. And I saw recently Colton from the Volvo guy, I cannot remember his name now, Drifts and Lifts. He has a clipped HE341, and he made 450 wheel on his Volvo. So the non-clipped version made 400 wheel. The clipped picked up about 50 wheel horsepower. So for the power goal for this car, I think 400 wheel is where we're looking. And this should give us a little bit of headroom and a little less back pressure. Also, shout out to e28 Goodies. I have a whole video or 2 videos on it, but their turbo manifold fit perfectly, made fabrication really easy, and really looking forward to testing it out. I know a lot of people have had good success with them, so I'm not worried about it. But if I think of anything else, I'll do another update. But for now, thank you for watching. Sorry, it's been a little bit slow. I should have filmed a lot more of this. I do have some stuff that I'm gonna put together, but it's incredibly difficult and time consuming to film while you're doing stuff. And I know that's just an excuse because a lot of people do it, but it's just something I haven't been interested in doing lately. Just trying to get this done and out of the way. So we'll do Rambletron updates for you in between. Thank you.